Air Jordan 3, Wizards. Alright, so what's up YouTube? It's another quick pickup video for you here today. And we have the Air Jordan 3 in the Wizards colorway, Wizards PE colorway that Mike wore. And for me, this was an auto cop, no questions asked. I was gonna buy these. It's not often, Mike didn't wear a whole lot of PEs, and so when one drops, automatic cop. And it even though it's not an original colorway per se, anything that Mike wore on the court, on an NBA floor in a game, it's got an original vibe to it because he actually played in it. So for me, these were without question. As soon as I heard they were dropping, it was auto cop. And you know, the funny thing with these is, for years, like, we didn't know, like, I didn't know these existed. I didn't know he wore these. Like, we saw pictures of him wearing the threes early on that first year with the Wizards, and that was right, like the True Blue threes had dropped like literally a month or two before the season started, or something like that, like right around the time, you know, before the season started. So naturally we just assumed he was wearing, oh, he's wearing the True Blue threes, it matches with the Wizards jerseys, you know, whatever. And I believe he actually did wear the True Blues in like some practices. Like recently, obviously with these dropping, there's been a lot of conversation about it, so a lot of research and pictures and things like that. So he actually wore both colorways, but like, I didn't know he had worn these until a few years ago, when someone had posted a picture of a PE pair that he actually wore. And when I saw all the copper, I was like, oh shit, he had a Wizards PE, and we never knew. And most of the pictures that we had seen weren't of high enough quality where it was obvious that, you know, the copper hits, you know, because really these are True Blues. It's just swapped off the red that was on the Jumpman, on those little lace holes there, and on the outsole, just swapped for red, from red to copper. That's all it is. So if you weren't really looking, like, they're both kind of warm colors, so if you weren't really looking, you probably wouldn't notice, and the pictures weren't super HD or anything like that. So until I seen that picture of the PE pair, I never knew these even existed, or that he wore them or whatever. So that was cool to learn a few years ago, and then now fast forward to when they're actually dropping, it's like, oh yeah, that's auto cop, no questions asked. And then they did these in like the same tooling and build as they've been doing a lot of the threes recently, going back to the Fire Reds last year. So the leather on them is great, shape is pretty good relative to what they're doing these days. Basically, you got the lower elephant print on the toe. And they really like tuned in on a lot of the details with these. So because the True Blue retro from 2001 wasn't 100% identical to the original True Blue. Couple differences where the original True Blue had the back of the tongue was red, and the retro True Blue from 01 was blue. So these have the blue like that pair. Also, obviously these don't have the Nike branding. There's a lot of discussion about that because the True Blues are an original colorway, and the True Blue 3 actually was the first OG colorway to not have the Nike Air, to have the Jumpman branded, you know, swapped out. back when they originally, like, obviously the modern retros that started in '99, or if you want to go back to, you know, '94 and '95, they all had their original Nike branding intact. And then when they first started retroing in '99, the new colorways had the Jumpman branding instead of the Nike branding. So this was the first original colorway, or the True Blues were the first original colorway to not have Nike branding. He wore them like this, so I want them like this. And I saw a lot of back and forth discussion because technically the True Blue is an original colorway. The Nike Air does look better in general. However, this is an exception to the rule. He wore them like this. I think they should have come like this. Kudos, Jordan Brand. Good job on that. Some of the other details, that True Blue Retro, another thing that was different from the original True Blues was the midsole on this side, the blue extended all the way forward, where on the original True Blue it stopped right here and cut off like on the Fire Reds and the White Cement 3s, and this part was white. So they carried that over on these as well. And then I think the last one is, oh yeah, the Jordan on the bottom here. As you can see, the color on the copper is completely filled in, and this is how they were doing the 3s at that time. It was completely filled in. I think with the 2007 retros, they changed it where it still said Jordan, but it wasn't completely filled in color. Like the Jordan, like the Jordan letters would still be copper, but then the background inside of this little graphic would be white. So, but they kept it exactly how it was in the 2001. So they really, you know, they paid attention to the details with these. These are really nice, man. These are like, from a Jordan head perspective, especially if you have an attachment to Michael Jordan, the basketball player, these were an auto cop, no questions asked. Like, I don't even have, I don't really wear these colors, like this shade of blue and the copper, but it don't even matter. I'll find something to wear. I still actually have my original Wizards jersey from back then, so even though I don't really wear jerseys like that, so I don't know if I'd actually pull the jersey out, but I probably just look for like some like throwback Wizards gear or something that Nike might do or something like that, just to wear with these. But yeah, this was no questions asked. No questions asked. Was copping these, and I'm glad that they really did a good job on them. One other detail that's different, I guess it was kind of to match Mike's PE. The interior liner here is actually satin. It's not that normal, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, it's not the normal like cotton or fabric that they put on the interior lining, so it's like super smooth. I guess that's how his PE was, and I guess they decided to do that on these too. It's different, but it's not bad, you know. I'll take it, you know. And yeah, that's pretty much it on these, bro. Like, these, great job. Like I said, Mike doesn't have a lot of PEs, so you don't really, there's not a lot of opportunity for a release like this. I mean, the only other things I can really think of, you could say like the Jordan, he wore some Jordan 5s that had 23 stitch on his pairs that didn't release like that. But I mean, that's kind of a PE, but then not really, because the rest of the shoe was the same colorway. It was just the 23. The ones that really stand out was the 213 lows that he wore in the 98 playoffs. He basically had like some playoff 13s that were cut and low, and they had mesh panels, and then he had an all black 13 with mesh panels, and then the bottom, not the pods, but like the bottom outsole was red. Those are like the only two real like PEs that he wore, in terms of like real like colorway and everything. I think there were some black and red like patent 11s as well, but like I said, it was the exact same 11s, just in a low top, so same colorway. But it's not a lot of PE colorways. But yeah, they did a great job on these. So and from the looks of it, these sold pretty well. I haven't seen a whole lot of restocks yet, so if you were checking for these, I hope you were able to get them. If you didn't pick them up and you want them later, hopefully you'll be able to find them. Yeah, so that's pretty much going to be it on this. I don't want to ramble too much. As always, if you like this type of content, do other good YouTube stuff for me. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.